Let's take a closer look at the features and functions of the Q Interactive Assess app. The app is where you'll spend the most time using Q Interactive. In this video, I'll talk about all functions you'll use before and after you administer the test. In another video, I will show you the functionality you'll encounter during testing across a variety of subtests. So, let's get started. We're looking at the home screens of both of my iPads. I've already configured these, so the one on the left I've set up as client-facing, and the one on the right is practitioner-facing. Upon tapping the apps, I'm brought to a login screen, and I use the same credentials I used up on Central. Upon successfully logging in, the two iPads will link up via the Bluetooth connection. This client iPad will now be blank up until I start a test that utilizes visual stimuli. I will now focus on the practitioner's iPad for the remainder of this video. The practitioner's iPad houses a variety of tools which warrant explanation and will help facilitate proficient use of the system. Here we're looking at the home screen. At this moment, I have 4 assessments listed down the left side of the screen, organized under these headings. Any newly created assessments will list under the Not Started heading. To start the test, tap the Battery tab, and the Start button is found here. This will launch you into the test. I will talk more about the functionality within a test in another video. The In Progress heading means I'm partway through the test administration. I can tap the Battery tab for this test session, and I will see these handful of subtests were administered. And the Resume button here will bring me right to where I left off. Tests listed under the To Do heading means the test has been administered completely, but there are a few items which still need some data. These To Do items are grouped under the Results tab. Tapping here, this All To Do button lets me resolve any of those identified items. Once all of these items are resolved, the test will reside under the Complete heading. Tapping this test session, I can see what was administered under the Battery tab, and here at the bottom there is a Review button, letting you go back to view any item and review any item-specific audio recordings captured during testing. Here under the Results tab, I can see the performance by subtest and by composite. Now that you have a better sense of how the assessment sessions are organized, let's look more closely at a specific battery. I now tap this test which I haven't started yet. Each test has 2 tabs, with the Results tab appearing after data is present. The Interview tab summarizes the test session. These fields in red are adjustable. Simply tap the field and make adjustments as needed. You also find a Notes button, which opens a screen allowing you to write some additional information about the test or client. These notes are best captured using a stylus. Here I will enter a note that the client arrived 10 minutes late, for example. With my note now completed, I tap the Done button to return to the Interview tab. The Remove button is found here as well. Tapping this will generate an alert, letting you know that this will sync the scores to Central, delete audio recordings, and remove from the iPad. Know that this is an irreversible action, so only do so when you have completed the assessment part of the evaluation. I will cancel out of this message now. The Battery tab lists the subtests as selected on Central. There are only 2 active buttons on this tab, the Edit Battery button and Start button found on the subtest itself. Editing a battery works like this. Your library of tests lists down the left side of the screen. Tap a test and the subtests will expand down the screen. Put your finger on a subtest and drag it over to the right. When you let go, the subtest will drop in like this. If you want to reorder your battery, it's the same action. Press and hold on a subtest, then drag it to a desired location. You will also find these X's down the right, which removes the subtest from the battery. The Save button executes the changes, and the Cancel button reverts back to what it was previously. This functionality lets you adjust the battery on the fly. Let's take a look at the Battery tab from another test session. This test session is in progress. When I enter the Edit Battery section, I am unable to delete an administered subtest, so I cannot edit completed subtests, only subtests which haven't been administered yet. Our third tab displays collected data. The Results tab organizes the data by subtest and composite. Some batteries may have information under the Comparisons button as well. You can drill down deeper through these arrows, which expand the subtest. Tap the bar graph to reveal this window, showing additional details about the subtest performance. You will find the same functionality under the Composites button. Arrows expand to show the component subtests, and the box and whisker will display additional details surrounding performance in that index. Lastly, let's look at these buttons across the top. Here you find a Manage Assessments link on the left, and these 4 actions found on the right. Manage Assessments is designed around the bulk removal of assessment sessions. Tap Manage Assessments, then select the desired assessments by tapping the circle. Once you've made your selections, tap the Remove Selected link. You see the same message we saw earlier when we looked at the Remove button from the Interview tab. I will now remove these completed assessments, and you can see this only takes a few moments to complete. This circle of dots displays the last time the data on the Assess app was synced up with Central. This works in concert with the Sync button below. Tapping this Sync button will back up all data to Central. Our final 2 icons are this question mark symbol and the door symbol. The question mark shows the version of the app, along with some additional data behind these buttons. The door symbol will log you out of the app. In our next video, I will work through the actions you'll take when actually administering the items. Thank you.